Jack Ma was born Ma Yan in 1964 in the Chinese provincial capital Hangzhou. Back then, China was largely isolated from the Western world. In 1972, Richard Nixon became the first US president ever to visit the People's Republic of China, including Hangzhou. As a result, the first American tourists came to the city, and Ma, who was just a young boy, seized the opportunity. He taught himself English by making friends with tourists and acting as their tour guide around Hangzhou. After finishing school, Jack Ma applied at the local university and failed the admission twice. By the way, Ma also tried hard to get into Harvard and failed 10 times. So he had stamina right from the start. At the third attempt, Ma finally passed the test at Hangzhou University. He majored in English. Afterwards, he applied for several different jobs, including one at the police. The police didn't want him, and so he ended up giving English lectures at the university. By the way, he says he was only getting paid about €10 per month. According to Forbes magazine, his current assets are estimated at about 45 billion. Well, we all have to start somewhere. In the 1990s, China began to open up more and more. And again, Ma saw an opportunity. Together with friends, he started a translation company. His life dramatically changed when he flew to the US for a translation job and came into contact with the internet for the very first time. And guess what his first online search was? Beer. He found German, Belgian and American beer, but not Chinese. In fact, China did not even appear on the World Wide Web. Back in China, Jack Ma wanted to change that and founded the country's first internet startup in 1995, China Pages, an English-language online index of Chinese companies. But Ma was ahead of his time. The company had to shut down after only 2 years. But only 4 years later, in 1999, Ma co-founded Alibaba, together with 17 people in his 6-room apartment. Alibaba started out as a digital marketplace for a variety of companies and goods. Not even 2 years later, the platform had more than 1 million users. And in 2005, Yahoo, which was still one of the big players in online business back then, bought 40% of the shares for around 850 million euros. By the way, even back then, the Alibaba Group was much more than just a marketplace. The online auction site Taobao, which later forced eBay out of the Chinese market, and the online payment system Alipay were already part of the group. In 2014, Alibaba controlled around 80% of the Chinese internet market and made billions in profits. In the same year, Jack Ma took his company to Wall Street. The Alibaba Group raised more than 21 billion euros. At that time, the largest IPO in history. Today, the group employs almost 100,000 people and has an annual turnover of almost 50 billion euros. This is all thanks to Jack Ma, who, with his perseverance and creativity, has created an online giant. In doing so, he also proved those wrong who think of the Chinese economy as undynamic and state-controlled. The father of 3 left the Alibaba Group in 2019. So one thing should be clear by now. Jack Ma is a very successful businessman. But here are 3 things you may find a bit more surprising. Jack Ma has been an art collector for quite some time, but he's also a painter himself. His first work of art, Paradise, which he created together with the Chinese artist Zhang Fanzi, was a huge hit. It sold for almost 5 million euros at a charity auction. Jack Ma is also a film producer. In 2016, Alibaba invested in Steven Spielberg's production company. Amblin Partners released films like Ghost in the Shell and Ready Player One. Ma loves unusual costumes, ranging from Snow White to Arnold Schwarzenegger. At the Ali Fest, a party for the employees of the Alibaba Group, he even performed a dance to honor Michael Jackson. But Jack Ma has also raised some eyebrows during his career with some of his statements. For example, the way he deals with product piracy. His lax approach has already gotten him into trouble with the Chinese authorities. He once said, "The problem is that the fake products today are of better quality and better price than the real names." In 2013, Ma's statements about the brutal crackdown on protesters on Tiananmen Square in Beijing in 1989 also attracted international criticism. He said this was the most correct decision. About the official internet censorship in his home country, Ma said in 2014, 600 million Chinese use the internet, so control can't be that bad. Did you know any of that? And what do you think about the tech titan Jack Ma?